am Queen Goddess Infinite Love, and you are watching Conversations with Queen Honey, and we're about to have a good time. That's what we're here for, and maybe learn a little something too. But that's up to you. Open your mind. This, a matter of fact, sister, can you tell me what this is?
This is Palo Santo.
Palo Santo. Of course, it's Palo Santo. And we're going to bone. We're not going to bone it. What I got on my mind, Jesus. I'm not even Catholic. Ain't nothing wrong with some bones, though. Unless you're talking about food, because we don't eat that. We don't. And that's actually what this episode is about. Okay, so you're watching Conversations with Queen. And this is Palo Santo. How did you say it?
Palo Santo.
Palo Santo. Yes.
Palo Santo.
It brings positivity into the air and clears out everything here in Wakanda. That is what we need. Here, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, sister.
Yes. I know that's right. And you see, we threw our wigs off on the wind. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Like
For
the
sure.
Django Jang, Femme the Future. I know you're going to watch this. What's up? Okay, yes. So, introduce yourself. They've already met your personality.
Yes, well, my name is Danni McGhee, and I am a plant-based nutrition coach and chef and owner and founder of Damn Good Vegan.
She's a damn good vegan. Me too. Well, tell us more about Damn Good Vegan. What does that mean?
So, Damn Good Vegan, well, the name itself came from my initials, so I figured, well, I might as well throw it in because it's my initials, and plus my food is damn good.
It sure is.
So
I
it
have to
worked
tell
out.
you, it's delicious.
Yeah, so it worked out. And but it's a lifestyle brand promoting a plant-based diet and overall lifestyle as the fastest way to optimal health and wellness.
Yes, optimal health and wellness. It's definitely what we're here, we're about. This is OpenVoiceMedia, if I didn't say that already, which I didn't, but it's okay. Damn Good Vegan, Danni McGhee, OpenVoiceMedia, Conversations with Queen. Let's get to it. So, how did you decide on a vegan lifestyle? When did that begin for you?
All right, so 4 years ago, I was on a weight loss journey. So this is back in 2014, and was still eating an omnivorous diet, but needed a change because I was plateauing and nothing was happening, and I wanted to lose some more weight. So I decided to go vegan for 21 days. I was like, I can
21-day challenge.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So I was like, oh, I can do anything for 21 days, and the 21 days will at least help me lose maybe another 5-10 pounds, something. So I started this challenge July 14, 2014, and within the first 3 days, I lost 4 pounds. So I was like, oh,
goodness.
This is working.
Wow.
And then on day 11, I remember I binged on all the documentaries on Netflix about
such as
Food Inc., Vegucated, Forks Over Knives.
That's my favorite.
Forks Over Knives?
Yes.
I love Forks Over Knives. And Hungry for Change, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And so those were the ones that were out then, and since then there's been some other ones that are amazing that are out. But I watched all of those and realized that I was very emotional after watching it because I felt as though I had been poisoning myself
That's exactly
for
what happens.
30 plus years. So at that point I knew it wasn't just, something I should do. I knew it was something I had to do, and I needed to continue on. And then I started learning, okay, why be vegan? Other than the health for myself, then I learned about the environmental concerns, the concerns of the animals, and then just overall living a compassionate life. So then at that point, I'm like, okay, now it's not just something I have to do; it's my duty.
Yes, I would agree with that. I'm also vegan myself, so which
Yes, I know that.
Oh, yes, vegan love.
Yes.
And I would say my journey was actually quite similar. I started maybe about 7 or 8 years ago. I did a small stint as pescatarian when it was at first like a health thing, a bit of a health nut. It wasn't so much about losing weight as it was feeling internally good. spiritually good, and so forth. And I actually started out as a vegan around a vegan family. There was an amazing family. They had 5 children. They were all vegan from, you know, the womb to where they are now in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They were cooking vegan meals every evening, and it really just helped me get into the lifestyle as a lifestyle choice. And then as time went along, I did begin connecting more with everything. There was an elevation of consciousness that took place.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I can't eat these beings. They're, you know, sentient beings. They have their own lives. They have families. They love each other. And I didn't give them life, you know, and I don't have any right to take their life. And so I think that all beings should be able to live free in the world. And that's one of the reasons why you're one of my favorite people, because you really understand that. And I think it's my goal here at OpenVoiceMedia for people to understand out in the world how important it is to take not only stock of yourself physically, but also mentally and spiritually, and then how that relates to the world around you and your environment, because it's just an extension of yourself. It's an extension of love, and that's what we're here for, love, and what I'm about as Queen Goddess Infinite Love. Okay, so that was your journey into veganism. Where has it brought you now?
Well, wow, so very far, because like you said, there is this level of like a spiritual a connection to your spirit, because you're eating compassionately, and now you're ridding yourself of all the violence and the fear that comes with eating animal products and byproducts. And
can you explain that a little more to our viewers?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, when animals are raised for our consumption, their life typically is not one of love and compassion and freedom. They are caged animals. They're not even fed the proper diet. They're just fed things to pump them up and get them fatter so that they can get to the production line even faster, and also injected with hormones and steroids and things of that nature. And actually, you know, the dairy cows get it a lot worse than, because they are, you know, consistently raped so that they can stay impregnated, so that they can continue to lactate.
Now, how would you describe that? Because I think that might seem intense for some people to use that word. I know that personally, I recently posted this meme that said, all vegans are feminists, or all feminists should be vegan, something along those lines. Because when we think of people and we think of breast milk, that belongs to the child of the mother. That's it, across the board. If that's not your child, that milk is not for them. And we can even tie that back to slave days, but that's another conversation for another time. If that's not your child, that milk is not for them. And so a baby calf is the only being that should be consuming milk from a calf, from a cow. And at the will of the mother. And when we consume from them, they no longer have that will, that say in their own life.
Right. It's definitely being forced on them. And so there's all those things that play a role into the quality of that animal's life. And then when that animal goes to slaughter, or they are, you know, lactating and producing a product that we're going to consume, there's all of those energies that's being transferred into those products. And so in turn, we then consume them, and that energy is transferred to us. And though we can't see the energy, we can feel it, and we can also and it actually gets so deep into us that we start to manifest things. So that's why we move through life a little maybe fearful, not fulfilling our dreams, not able to have open conversations with people that we don't want to confront or something. There's just a lack of confidence in moving forward because of the energy that we're picking up from animals.
So to connect the dots for some people that might not understand, like even just energy transference, it's kind of like a vibe. If you ever walk into a room and you might light up the room. You bring that hey vibe, kind of like Queen Goddess does, you know. Or you have someone who brings a vibe that isn't so positive. And when that occurs, it's like everybody catches that vibe. And for those who also follow the Christian theology, it's like the Holy Spirit. They say, you know, it's just like fire, like Shirley Caesar likes to say. One person catches it, the next person catches it. It's the same thing when you're consuming food. Anything you're consuming has an energy to it, whether that's something you're reading, something that you're watching, something that you're listening to, the people that you're around. Everything around you is being consumed because that's what your senses are for. But on a more scientific level, it's important to understand that they actually can test for stress hormones within animals. So when she says energy, that is actually scientifically based in a stress hormone that transfers from that animal that's in that meat into the human that's consuming it, and then you're holding it, and then you wonder why your belly is fat and clogged, or you have cortisol. We have enough stress with the things that go on in our life. We don't need to add any more by taking in the cholesterol and the stress hormones of animals. And we shouldn't be stressing them out either. Nobody should be. I'm too blessed to be stressed, you know. Eat to live. And that's what's important. If you want to eat to live or what's alive, eat what's alive.
Right. Yep.
And on that note, tell us more about eating to live.
Okay. Well, that's my passion. So since going vegan, I have 9 months after going vegan, I decided to try a raw vegan challenge. I'm like, all right, let me take it up a notch and see what the raw veganism lifestyle is about. And one of the big things about eating a raw vegan diet is that juicing is usually a big part of it, so that you can consume enough calories and make sure you're fully nourished. Because, you know, when you eat a raw vegan diet, you need to eat an abundance of food, so which is great, you know, but sometimes you don't have the time. You know, and you just need to have something convenient. So juice is great for that. But I started sharing juice online that I was preparing myself at home, and then a friend of mine was like, "Oh, I want to buy some juice from you." So the entrepreneur that I am, I'm like, well, I wasn't selling it, but I got it. So, you know, now I'm going to sell it to her. So I started selling to her, and then from there it kind of snowballed. And then that was in May of 2015. And in October of 2015, that same year, I opened my juice company. And that's where we started. And then we added in meals and did meal delivery service, which is something we still offer now. And but through the last almost 2.5 years, we've just transitioned from you know, still offering juice and food, but also educating, doing classes and courses online, because not only do we want to provide great plant-based foods and cold-pressed juices, we want to also educate you and empower you so you can go in the kitchen and create these meals and juices yourself.
Okay, so give us an example of what would you consider all day, what your meal should look like. What does a meal plan look like for a day? Because she also does meal planning. She can get you a detox plan if you're looking to lose some of that extra fat that you have on there that's either from meat or just, you know, going through a stressful time, maybe grief, something of that sort. And I really want you guys to pay attention to the fact that she said that began in 2015. It is just now 2018, and as she said, it snowballed. One of the most important points here is when you begin to be aligned with what your purpose is and begin to raise your consciousness or awareness of who you are and who we all are as humans and what you're supposed to be doing, everything else just falls in line with you. And if you haven't read The Alchemist, you should. It's a great book, and it helps you understand that the universe is just here to conspire with you. And everything will just begin to move in your direction. And stay strong on that. Stay affirmed in that. And stay present in that. All those I am love. I am well. I am healed. I am abundance. I am the earth. I am Queen Goddess Infinite Love. So, with that being said, give us a meal plan day.
Okay, so I think a typical day should look like this. First thing in the morning, should have 32 ounces of fresh spring water with lemon added to it to help to get your major organs going, move digestion. So first thing in the morning you'll have a bowel movement, which is something you want. And then after that happens,
no shit. Sorry.
Yes, shit.
Exactly.
So then after that, about at least an hour after you've had that first liter of water, then you can break your fast with something like juice or a smoothie, something really light, but definitely raw, and tons of fruit.
And what kind of juice could you get in?
Yeah, so like
type of juice?
A green juice would be great, like pineapple, spinach with some ginger. And then throw in an herb like cilantro, because herbs are just great anyways, and you might as well just the great thing about juice is you're able to throw some things in there that you wouldn't necessarily like just sit and eat, because you can still get the nutritional benefit from it, but it blends in with the taste and makes it, taste phenomenal. So that's great in the morning, some juice. And then I usually have a second breakfast, because after juice, it just kind of gets me going, but it's really not enough. So then I'll have a smoothie, or I'll have just a mono meal of maybe 5 mangoes or 10 bananas or something like that. And then midday, I would have a salad, typically large green salad with kale or other types of green leafy vegetables. Definitely stay away from like iceberg lettuces and stuff like that.
And why should you stay away from iceberg lettuce?
Well, the lighter the lettuce, the less nutritional content it has. Though it is filled with a lot of water, so it's still hydrating, it's still not as nutritionally I guess the nutritional content is not as high compared to eating kale or spinach. So
it's not as nutritious, y'all.
Yeah, so you might as well, if you're going to eat a salad, you might as well eat the most nutritious
and what about
lettuces.
People that like to pour all types of dressings all over their salads?
Yeah, so well, the great thing is that there's some really good vegan dressings that that are offered now. So they have vegan ranch and things like that. But obviously still in moderation. But what I say for those that really like dressing, try to make it at home. If you have a blender, you can throw an avocado in there as your base, squeeze some lime juice or some orange juice, throw some apple cider vinegar, salt, pepper, whatever seasons you like, or herbs, green onions, and blend that up, and you have a dressing that can taste just like this type of dressing that you purchase in the store. You can make your own balsamics, but I would say if you really like dressing, try to make your own. Go on Pinterest, look for a recipe, just type in plant-based dressings, and there's tons, trust me, tons of recipes, so there's no lack there. But as long as you're willing to put in the time, and you can do that once a week, make a fresh batch of dressing for the week, right, and then you're good to go.
And that's what they call meal prep. So she does meal prep. So if you are thinking about this, thinking about changing your lifestyle, like, look, I don't have time to do all that stuff at home. That's why Danni's here. You can go to damngoodvegan.com. You can check out her ebook that has a whole bunch of recipes in it. And not only that, she can take you through a meal plan and help you plan out your whole week, plan out your diet. Coming in the future, we'll also have some fitness things going on. So I'm very excited about that. We like to talk about yoga and meditation, like she said, education. OpenVoiceMedia will also be participating in some things of that sort as well. But the most important thing here is, it ain't tricking if you got it,
Yeah.
So
yeah, and
she got it. So you can go to the website, get the recipes if you want to do it yourself. If you don't want to do it yourself, you can buy the food from her. You can have her make juice for you. It's so wonderful. And later in the show, we'll actually have a food demo so that you can kind of see, what her meal prep looks like, and something that you can easily do at home.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I guess just to finish up the day, so after you have that salad, and make sure the salad is abundant and full of fruits and vegetables, all sorts of toppings, avocado. And I say another thing for those that like a lot of dressing, try to add more fruit to your salad, because that'll add some sweetness and satiate you so that you don't necessarily have to eat a lot of dressing.
And let's back up completely for this whole conversation. Not everything vegan is healthy. For instance, Oreos are vegan, but they're not food. Because they're a bunch of chemicals. If you go into the grocery store, it is very important for us to talk about this. Every time you pick up any product, you need to look on the back of it and see what the ingredients are. Food are ingredients. That's it. If it's not an actual food that you can pronounce, it's not an actual ingredient and you shouldn't eat it. It's actually poison and it is a foreign source to your body. Your body is a plant. Your body is made from the earth. Doesn't matter what religion you are. Science has proven it as well. We are made up of the same thing as the stars, the animals, the soil, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, from whence we came, the breath of life, right? So if it's not something that's made from the earth, it doesn't belong in your body. You wouldn't feed your plants gasoline, would you? They would die. So don't put poison in your body.
Yeah, that's why I really like to state that I am a plant-based vegan, because there's a definition out there saying about plant-based, a plant-based diet. So according to, if you Google it right now, a plant-based diet consists of plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, and some animal products. So to me, that's very misleading because some animal products, that's not plant-based, but nonetheless.
And animals aren't products, they're people.
Right. And so that's why I just put them together and I say I'm a plant-based vegan, because then it takes care of both sides. Mm-hmm. And but I just believe in eating things that are natural. If it didn't grow that way, we're not going to eat it. Yeah, and soy is definitely one of those things that I keep out of my diet. And
let's talk about soy for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm working on a documentary right now that the whole baseline is the connection between soy and reproductive rights. Let's just put it like that. Soy is one of the main causes of female reproductive issues here in America. There has been over 600,000 hysterectomies. There has been all types of issues and problems dealing with our reproductive systems. I mean, as soon as you go into the doctor, they always want to just send you into surgery. They don't actually look for solutions at all that have anything to do with your food being your medicine, as Imhotep or Hippocrates has said. We want to encourage the doctors out there to study a homeopathic or a naturopathic avenues to healing and curing, not just reducing symptoms. We want to heal, we want to cure, and those things are possible. And they're possible with what's already been provided to us here on the earth. And soy can be natural, non-GMO, but it is estrogen. And women already have enough estrogen. So an overload of estrogen is unhealthy for you, and that's what causes fibroids and some of those other issues. And for the men, it's not so good for you either. You don't need an extra dose of estrogen unless you're doing it on purpose. We are non-phobic, friendly people as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned about the men as well, because it's something that affects all human beings.
Right.
And that's why we see, men with man boobs. It's because there's too much soy.
Unless you want them on purpose.
Unless you want them on purpose, yeah. And then also, I think something that probably goes less detected is low sperm count. Mm-hmm. And so infertility issues. Stay strong, brothers. Stay away from that soy. Yeah, and a lot of times the people are, omnivores, people that eat meat, will be like, oh, well, vegetarians, you all eat a lot of soy, or tofu, that's soy, and it causes cancer and this and that. But if you eat meat, you eat soy as well, because soy is ingested into the meat that you eat, because that's what animals are being fed. So that's another reason why children are, like young girls, are having breasts at an early age or starting their periods a little bit too early, because of the extra estrogen from the soy that comes in meat products and processed foods. So if you look on the back of most processed foods, soy is a main ingredient. So
yes, and I think that has a lot to do with the medical side of things. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, and I'll stop right there.
Yeah.
Just give you a little taste. You can watch my documentary when it comes out, and it'll delve into the background of the connection between processed foods and our medical industry. There is no reason why foods and drugs should be in the same administration. But I love being a global citizen, and I love the freedoms that we do have here. So I'll leave that at that, because I'm an African American, and I love Martin Luther King and Malcolm X too. But anyway, pulling it back in.
Yeah.
So we went through a day, what it's like to be a vegan.
Almost.
Oh,
so
okay.
we got to lunch, and then
Okay,
there's dinner. So dinner, I really
Gotta
like
eat
to.
dinner.
Yeah, dinner I like
Unless
to.
you're fasting. We'll talk about that next.
Yeah, fasting is awesome, but unless dinner I like to freestyle, because during the day I had my salad, I had juice. I'm pretty nourished at this point, you know, so dinner can be really whatever I feel like. And sometimes after eating what I've eaten, I might not want something heavy, so I might go for just a green smoothie or something light, or just water. Like last night, I didn't want anything to eat. I had a half avocado and I had some water, and I was satisfied.
Okay.
Though I had cooked food and everything, I just didn't want it.
Now, what does a fun for the person that's like, all right, that's nice, okay, healthy. But what are some of the more fun foods
that's what I'm about to
get
to.
That you can eat as a vegan?
Absolutely. So on a day when I really want some food, I might make a Philly cheesesteak, a vegan Philly cheesesteak. And that's just mushrooms, peppers, and onions, but you're going to get that, you know, sauteed up real nice and seasoned to taste just like a Philly, and then we melt cheese on top.
What kind
vegan
of cheese? Yes.
Vegan cheese for sure. My favorite brand, should I mention it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. My favorite brand is Follow Your Heart when it comes to sliced cheese. But all brands, all the vegan cheeses, they have their thing. So I might get shreds from here, slices from here, blocks from here. But you just got to try them all to see what you like the best. But
and again, look on the back to check out the ingredients, because a lot of things are being promoted right now as vegan. Like Ben & Jerry's has a new vegan ice cream. I looked on the back of that yesterday, and I think that it's vegan like the way that Oreos are, because there is a lot of chemicals in it. So just because something says vegan, just because something says that it's natural, look on the back at the ingredients and double check and make sure it's actually something healthy for you.
Yeah, and also when it comes to products, I look at the ingredients as well, but I also think about the company. Is the company a vegan company? Because just because now you're Breyers, or now you're Ben & Jerry's, or you're even Hellman's now makes a vegan mayo.
Yes, there's a whole bird on my porch. That is the first time that's happened in 2 years. Hey there, birdie. Friends of the animals. See, they came to visit us right during the interview. What's up? He's at the window. Like, what y'all doing?
Like, can I join the interview?
You sure can.
Bird call.
Okay, now.
So, you know, Hellman's offers a vegan mayo, but I would rather spend my money with a company that is vegan, because all of their products are vegan.
And they have sustainable principles.
They have sustainable principles and practices. I can't assume, but most of them, you know, are ethical. And that's a big thing. And when I decided to stop eating meat and supporting the dairy industry, the egg industry, and the meat industry, I didn't want any of my dollars going towards those products. So if I am going to support Breyers, then I'm supporting the dairy industry.
Right.
If I'm supporting Hellman's, I'm supporting the dairy and egg industry. You know, so it's that's something to think about. Of course, those products are great there for your transition and for you to feel comfortable. But once you transition, then there are companies that have even better tasting products, because they know what they're doing, and a lot better.
Once your palate begins to change, once you go on a 21-day challenge, or go cold turkey, or do a little bit by little bit, when your palate changes, you begin to taste everything. For instance, there is even some quote-unquote good vegan companies out there, but I have a hard time eating any type of additive or preservative whatsoever. So if Danny's making a salsa, or I make a salsa for some reason that I actually want to make something, and it's like, no, I like to cook sometimes, and I'll go and try to get a salsa in the store, and it can even say organic, but if it's sitting on the shelf, it can't be that organic. So there are different rules, like 95% organic, you can say it's organic, or you can put like organic on it because it has an organic ingredient in it. But as soon as I put it in my mouth, my tongue is so discriminating at this point. It is so discerning, if you will. It's the right dividing of the food, amen. Okay, because I can taste in hummus, it's like, this isn't just chickpeas and tomatoes and whatever else they said it is. It's a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't even want to eat this. It's hurting my stomach. Once you begin to cleanse yourself mentally, spiritually, and physically, it begins to release in all areas of your life. And that's the journey that we're all truly on, is just to ascend and elevate our consciousness. Yeah, agreed.
Veganism has shifted my life in the emotional level, the mental level, the spiritual level, and even just being able to maintain my health, because there were some challenges that I had prior to 2014. And
tell us more about that.
So I suffered from IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, which just basically slows down the digestion a lot. And the funny thing about IBS is, though you are diagnosed with, because it's like constipation, well, it shows up in two ways. It shows up either constipation or diarrhea, one of the two. But either way, it's where your digestion is not working properly. For me, it was constipation. And the funny thing is, like, as soon as I started eating plants, then that went away. And so obviously our body needs plants in order to not be constipated or have digestion issues.
Correct.
But at that time, with my level of thinking, I didn't think it was connected to my food. I didn't think that what I was eating was causing my IBS. I just thought it was something else. And then eventually went to the doctor. They did prescribe me something. And I started taking that. And then within like a month or so, I then switched to peppermint oil, because I'd never been into pills, but I know I needed relief because I was in horrible pain. And then once the pain subsided, then I switched to the peppermint oil, and that helped, but I still didn't change my diet.
So there is a transition here. And I think that that's very important to state as well. We're not telling you to put down your blood pressure medicine today. We are saying eventually, most likely, you may not need those things. We are in no way giving any medical advice or legal advice of any kind.
Right.
But we are saying that your food is your medicine. And your medicine is your food. And that bird is really just chilling on my patio. Like, I'm like, wow. This is, awesome. I mean, in 2 years, I've only had, look at him. He's on a yoga mat. He's on a stretch. Oh, it's 2 of them. They having a party.
Oh, that's so funny.
And there's no type of food out there at all. They really hearing the spirit.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
It happens all the time at my house.
Right?
2 days ago, I looked outside and a cat was there. And then he was walking by. Then he looked back at me. And then he just kept staring at me. And I was like...
Because he sees the light.
Like, hey.
They recognize light beings.
And we just stared at each other for literally 2 full minutes. Just
wow.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
That's so beautiful. Yeah.
Oh
my God. Yes. Okay. You too can care about the animals and communicate with them.
Yeah.
I'm sure
they are here to guide us.
Right.
They are here to guide us.
Oh man, that's so beautiful. Okay, so in what other ways do you think that veganism has manifested in your life or in your spirituality?
So other than the physical things, like I had joint pain, I was overweight. I was about 50 pounds heavier than I am today. And mental clarity, I wasn't clear at all. So it brought mental clarity. I slept better. I had more energy throughout the day. That 3 o'clock slump at work wasn't happening anymore. I was like, I'm just coasting through the day. So, so that was awesome. But on a more deeper level, I felt like, as soon as I went vegan, though I always felt like I was a nice person and I was always compassionate and there was always, I was always love and this and that, I didn't understand it on that level. Like how much deeper it can get, right? So having compassion for animals, truly for other human beings because of the decisions I make every day and the environment, that allowed me to just feel like I ascended because I see the world in such a different way. I see it in a way that, like, at first I saw it as like a hell. Like, oh my God, we're living in hell because of all this stuff that's going on. And even now, like
they like really like, yo, what's
he's
good?
Like looking in, like, can I, like,
what y'all doing?
But now, even though it's the same things going on, and it's even more even in my face now because of veganism, knowing like animals are being hurt every day, millions, I still find peace, right? Because I don't subscribe to those things.
Right.
Though animals are getting slaughtered every day.
And what you resonate, you bring toward you. What you resonate is what you attract. Yeah. And so as you bring yourself to a space of inner peace, a peace beyond understanding, then that's what begins to resonate on the outside of you. Mm-hmm. And even though challenges come, you just deal with them differently. And that's a continual transition as well, because it's like peeling back a banana or an onion if you like onions, and more and more you begin to get closer and closer to the source, God, the Most High, however you want to say. And when you begin to resonate that and feel it within yourself, you know when you're in balance and you're not in balance. You know when you're aligned and you're not aligned. Mm-hmm. And your food has a chemical basis to it. Everything that you eat that matches up with everything that's in your body and in your spirit and in your emotions. So if you have a kid with ADHD, you could change their diet and it'll change their life. Like, remember that show Heroes? Save the cheerleader, save the world. Change your diet, change your life. For real. Yeah.
Veganism honestly just made me have to take responsibility. There was no more scapegoating and saying, oh, I'm just overweight because I'm just overweight, or I'm just gonna have I'm gonna have diabetes because my aunt had it. Those are excuses. It's actually very detrimental to do that because we are more in control than we think.
You can reconstruct your own DNA from inside out. Absolutely. Through your thoughts, through your behaviors, through your input. We have the ability to do that. God gave us that ability. So don't claim anything that's not for you. Yeah. If you want health and wellness, claim health and wellness. If you want peace, claim peace. If you want love, claim love. Say, I am love. I am health. I am wellness. I am well. Continue to do that. And you'll see that change and manifest in your own life. And if anything out of this whole conversation, I recommend a book and a film called The Secret. And it'll really help teach you about one of the Hermetic laws, the law of attraction. There are several other laws, the laws of correspondence. I would also suggest somebody else that we both love, Ralph Smart, Diving Deep.
Infinite Waters.
Right. Slow motion this way. Smelling that good ass prana. Or broccoli, whatever kind of prana that you like to smell. But anyway, there's a lot of resources out there. You can change your life. You can be whoever you want to be. But I would suggest most and foremost to follow your passions, follow your instincts. They were put there for a reason. And the more you clear yourself out, the more clear your instincts will become. And you'll know when something resonates with you and when it doesn't. And when it doesn't, you just got to kind of, find out what the vibration is and readjust that frequency. Just like in a song, it's an attunement. Music is made of the same things. It's made of the tones of the universe. People have used music to heal. You can Google that.
Yeah.
Google that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all of those things are a part of a true vegan life. True vegan life. Mm-hmm. Now, that's a show.
It is a show. And though, if you are not vegan, this might sound overwhelming because it is a lot. But I just say, if you're just, thinking about it, all you have to do is just start somewhere. You know, start with a meatless Monday. Start with one meal a week that is vegan, or go out with find a vegan friend and have them take you to a vegan restaurant.
And if they try to give you tofu, be like, no, fool. I don't eat that.
I'm plant-based, right? So,
right.
And
I'm plant-based.
And there's always options. So that's the good thing about that. And of course, if you all have questions, you can contact me or Michelle. We both are, we've been in it long enough to know how to maneuver in this non-vegan world so that we can still find nutritious, fun, yummy foods.
And I'm going to claim a vegan world. There is going to be a new heaven and a new earth. And it's going to include all the animals. And I believe that.
Yeah.
And they're going to be alive. Did you know that pigs are smarter than dogs in some scientific tests? Stop eating them. Stop eating the people, man. These birds came to visit us just during this interview. That never happened before. All types of animals. You'll begin to feel this connection with everything around you and every person around you. You'll feel the love, and you'll feel when somebody's not resonating with love. And you may have to begin to find different ways to protect your energy and block your spirit, but then also be able to filter where you can still send out love while not receiving what it is that they're offering that's not for you. So as we said, Ralph Smart, Diving Deep is a great place to start. The Secret, The Alchemist, The Four Agreements is another good one. You can listen to books on Audible if you don't have time to read. That if you have a traffic commute at work, look that up. Another great one is called The Body Is Not an Apology that I just picked up. That's another great book. Those are things that we can talk about on more conversations with Queen.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
After these messages from our sponsors, the heavens and the earth, we will be right back with Danny's food demo. All right, thanks guys. Conversations with Queen.
Peace.
Peace. That's so funny. Yeah.